What do we do? So good morning, we're jumping live on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining. I was just mentioning to the Zoom group, tomorrow is World Breathing Day. I think we're pretty sure it's World Breathing Day tomorrow, 3rd of February, Friday the 3rd of February. So if you, and I'll mention this at the end again just as a reminder, 5 o'clock till 6 o'clock UK time, Oxygen Advantage, jump on the Oxygen Advantage Instagram account and there's a live free breathwork session. I think there's about 4 or 5 coaches. We'll be just guiding some breathwork practices for Oxygen Advantage. And then for Breathe Balance Move tomorrow at 6:30 UK time, I'm going to jump in and do a half-hour qigong and breathwork session. It's nice. We've never done an evening session, so I'm looking forward to that. It's something that I will be introducing when the new app comes on board. We'll be doing some evening sessions as well exclusively on that app. So lots of fun things coming up. But in the meantime, let us do some movement. So we'll start off with a little bit of spinal cord breathing. So take your feet shoulder width apart, a little bit of bend in the knees, and then you're expanding and opening up the chest, and then you're tucking the tailbone under, curling up into a little ball. And really pay attention to the breath, nice and smooth in through the nose, opening up the spine, opening up the front of the spine, and then tucking the tailbone under, rounding the back, expanding, tucking under, We were just chatting again on Zoom about the Scotland retreat, and I was watching the Channel 4 news last night, and they did a piece on the temperate rainforests of Britain, and they were in Devon, and it just reminded me of the forest in Scotland. And I ordered a book, I've forgotten what the book was called now, but I've got a book coming on the lost rainforests of Britain. So that's going to be interesting to find out a little bit more about that. Couple more, breath in, nice and smooth, expanding. Breath out. Good, and then take a rest, standing tall. Let's do a bit of knocking. So shifting the weight side to side this time. There was a crack in my knee, I think, or shin. Shifting the weight, so if I mirror you and I go towards my left, you knock your right. So opposite side. Watch that we're not just dropping the hips side to side. It's not a dropping the hips, it's a shifting the weight. There'll be a bend in the knee on the side you shift to, nice and strong. That's going to be a really strong support leg on the side that you shift to. We're still rotating hips and waist as well, still moving from the center. Pay particular attention to the upper back, lengthening through the crown of the head. Get that sense of rotation through the upper back. Oiling the joints. Relaxing the arms, relaxing the shoulders. Just letting the arms swing and knock the body. Really feel that power through the hips. Strong through the hips, strong through the legs. Good, and then gradually slow it down. It's always, always, always good to remember, again, if you think about the qigong, always remember grounded and connected to the earth, and at the same time connected to the sky. So grounded down and stable and strong to the earth, light and lifted with the upper body. So we're not doing all of this with the upper body, we're using the lower body, we're using the strength and the power of the legs and the lower body. Upper body is just nice and free and light and lifted. Works in everything. It works in standing, works in walking, works in running, powering from the center. Excuse me. We'll do another little bit of a spine twist. This is a nice one. So I will want you to put your one hand on your lower back. So the rest, the back of your hand on the lower back. And then I'll swap just so we're on the same side facing each other. And then the opposite hand in front of you. I've got a little bit of space there, a little bit of space in front of me. And we're going to rotate again, going from this center point, rotating from the hips and the waist. And we're just looking over our, if I'm mirroring you, over your left shoulder. And then just gentle push. And just go to a comfortable space. Just really be careful. If you've got any back issues, remember anything we do like this is not forcing. And then we come back to center and then we just rotate the other way. So the lower back will get to a certain point and then you can go a little bit more with the mid back, upper back, and then back to center. Again, it really helps if you keep tall through the spine, keep lifting from the crown. So you get that rotation through the whole spine. Remember, we never want to get to that point where we're holding the breath or catching the breath. So you can actually breathe in as you come to center and then out as you have that little twist. Let's do one more in your own time to each side. It's nice opening up between the shoulder blades. And then when you're ready, just swap sides. So again, nice and strong through the lower legs. A little bit of bend in the knees. The knees will bend. You might feel that stretch through the front of the body as well, keeping tall through the spine. Never force, never strain. You can always challenge yourself, but make sure you don't force anything, strain anything. You might find one side feels different to the other. Do one more each side. This way. And then take a rest. And the more you breathe into a movement like that, the more you get that sense of ease. If you just hold the breath, push, everything jars. So you just go slowly and you ease into it. Very much like when we're doing the flow movements. This is just like a little bit of stretch as well with that. Good. You might want to just shake your arms out a little bit. And then we're going to do dog wags the tail. So remember, shifting side to side, shift hips side to side. It's not dropping hips like this side to side. Nice and strong through the legs, strong through the lower body, and then free up the spine, the upper body. Nice and light. The hips lead. There's a big difference if I'm doing this with my shoulders or if I'm doing this with my head. You can see the difference, see the movement coming from the center, feel the movement coming from the center. And then gradually slowing it down, slowing it down, slowing it down, slowing it down. And taking a moment before we have a little bit of a shake. And again, you're using the legs, nice strong legs. And then letting the shoulders go, using the hands. And actually a really good one I was watching the other night with a little bit of a shake is just bringing your hands up to the sides, like a little bit of a dance move for a Thursday morning. It's amazing, just letting the wrists go a little bit. I can really feel the difference in my right shoulder, right arm when I do that, because again, if you're working at the computer quite a bit and you've got your hands on the keyboard, you can tighten up that right side a little bit and then back down. Really let the shoulders go. And let's take a few full breaths in and make a nice ah sound as you're sighing out. So breath in and ah. 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 Good, and then slowing it down, and just taking a moment. Oh, I can really feel tingling today. So you've just created that blood flow, that movement, that energy flow through your body. Sound vibration is a really good way of activating the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the nerve huge nerve or nerves that run through the system, run through the gut, run through the diaphragm, run through the heart, which actually helps to calm you. So it activates that parasympathetic. So sound is connected to the throat, vibration.
Would you like it louder or softer?
Oh, that's weird. Siri just talked to me. Would I like it louder than softer? The sound. No, I'm going to get an advert now for.
Media will play more softly.
I'm going to get an advert now for some music product or sound therapy. Let me just turn the volume off. Brilliant. Okay, so let's do a little bit more strength. We'll start off with a flow, but then we'll go into a little bit more of a deeper squat. So just finding your own comfortable depth at the minute, dropping the hips back, arms down, come up, and it's a little bit more of a stretch. So we're just stretching out the arms, stretching out the fingers, and then coming back. A little bit more of a stretch here, coming out to the sides. down. Deliberately put a little bit more effort, if you like, or a little bit more tension through the body as you stretch up, as you stretch out, and then back down. Your own comfortable depth, your own comfortable stretch. Feel the rib cage lift from the pelvis. If you just get into here, that's absolutely fine. And if you're just getting up to here and stretching, that's absolutely fine. It's not about, as I say, you find your comfortable range of motion that isn't too much, but you can challenge yourself. Stretch out the arm lines. Think of lifting up the sky. Yeah, it's weird. I can now talk to my TV, so I can tell my TV to turn itself on, end up talking to Siri to ask him what time it is. It's very bizarre having conversations with AI. And now I've been using some of the chatbot AI programs, and they are amazing. Obviously, you've got to know your stuff, hopefully know your stuff that you are, the questions you're asking, and know, not just blindly follow the answers, but actually some of it is so good, because some of the stuff that we're teaching, that you sort of like have the same way of saying things, suddenly AI puts like another slant on it, and I found that brilliant, particularly with the heart rate variability course that we've just been working on, just helping to, we have all of sort of like the lessons and everything together on that, and then it's just like clarifying, oh, what would happen if we asked that question, and we can use little bits of what it comes up with. So interesting how AI is going to hopefully be very beneficial in a lot of ways. Couple more nice big wake up stretches, but really using the lower body, strengthening the legs. Good. Take a rest. So there's a difference between that sort of movement where we're making it more of a stretch. Think of Buddha holds up the earth that we practice. That's very, I mean, you could use more of a stretch there, but it's much more of an easy move. Whereas that one, we're doing a little bit more depth. We're putting a little bit more tension in the true sense of the word through the body. Not tension as in, oh, I'm tense, but we need a certain amount of tension all the time throughout the body to sustain our stability, our posture, etc. Similar one with that, again, really working on leg strength and stretching the arms out. And I'm going to slide on this mat. I'm going to have to take my socks off. We're just going to go slightly wider on the stance. So go nice and wide, but again, your comfortable width, don't force anything. Now, when we're dropping down with this one, I'm not going into a squat. I'm not hinging the hips back too far. I'm dropping down. Now, there is a little bit of movement back, but think of keeping the back nice and long there. And it's almost like you've got a little weight on the tailbone. That weight is bringing the tailbone down. So you'll get a nice stretch through the thighs. Again, not too much, just enough for yourself. And then you push out to the side as you drop down. Make sure the knees are going over the toes. You haven't got the knees dropping in like this. And then really stretch through the arms. And then come back in, standing tall. And then push out. It's like you're pushing walls away either side of you. Back up. push away. And you can do breath in as you come up to stand, and then breath out. And if you feel you need it, if we're not doing too many, you can do a breath out through the mouth. So you could breathe in, you could do almost like a candle's breath out through the mouth. Gentle breath out. You may just need one or two. Stretching the arm lines, keeping the shoulders down. Let's do a couple more. And then take a rest, walking your feet back in together. Giving your legs a bit of a shake and just stand for a moment. And then we're just going to do a little bit of freeing up of the shoulders and the hips. So I think we did this one on Tuesday. Shoulder hip apart on the legs. You're bringing the hip forward. So I'm going to mirror you and bring you my left hip forward. At the same time, you've got your left arm up. Now again, whatever's comfortable for you. If that feels too tight or if that doesn't feel comfortable, if you've got any impingements in the shoulders, just do it at your own comfortable range of motion. This is another really good way of focusing on this center of the body moving. Hip moves, arm drops. Hip moves, you notice the knees bend. So leading from the hip, arm drop. Just completely let that arm go. You're not doing any work with that arm whatsoever. It's a bit like a roller coaster. It gets to the top and then drops down. Couple more. And then take a rest. And then opposite arm. So now we're focusing on the right side. You're driving that right hip forwards. Right hip drives forwards, arm drops. Couple more. And then take a rest. And we'll just finish off with one hand on the hip, holding the teacup, and then again leading with this hip, comes out to the side, palm goes back. The good one, the really good coordinating one, like belly rubbing head, rubbing chest. I think the bit where most people get stuck, myself included, here's good, we're coming up, so palms facing up, is this bit here, because we have to open up this bit here, open up the front of the body. Really good for that whole spiral, twisting, rotational movement through the body. And then swap sides, hip glides, remember leading from the hips and the waist. Nice one to get the hips mobile. And the upper body. Good, one more. It's 8:30, that went quick. And then take a rest. Have a little bit of a shake. Have a little bit of a brush down. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Thanks for sharing your Thursday morning with me. As I mentioned at the very beginning, tomorrow at 5 p.m. on the Instagram Oxygen Advantage Instagram. There's about 4 instructors doing some guided breath work at 5 till 6 tomorrow. I'll be joining that session. And then I'm doing a special breathe balance move class. We're doing a qigong flow. We'll do a qigong flow at 6:30 to 7. That'll be really nice in an evening because we've not done an evening class before. This is in celebration of World Breathing Day, which is tomorrow, Friday, the 3rd of February. So I haven't set up the page if you aren't registered on Breathe Balance Move yet, but do watch out on for any emails coming, or I will post it under this video on YouTube and Facebook a little bit later on this morning. But if you're on the Zoom Breathe Balance Move class, use exactly the same link at 6:30 tomorrow if you want to join in, and use exactly the same Breathe Balance Move Zoom link, and I will see you hopefully then for an evening practice. Thanks for joining today. Hopefully see you tomorrow. If not, I'll see you next week. Take care.
It's great.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, folks.
Goodbye. Bonsoir.